We're about a month out from the release of 5th edition Talisman, and I'm very, very excited. We're getting some confirmations. We're getting some leaks. Absolutely, auto-include, I'm in. This is going to be the summer of Talisman. I'm already starting to look at the Tactica. I'm already starting to look and say, my favorite characters that I love to play, how have they changed? How can they interact? And some of these new rules mechanics, what do they look like? Now, I want a framework before we jump into the Toad question of the game. With every new edition, yes, I want to see a refresh of the art. Yes, I want to see some components upgraded. I also want to see some of the rules adjusted or changed. And this is true not just with Talisman, but with any edition. Keep the core engine. Yes, keep that engine. But areas where, look, Talisman takes a long time to play, or these elements of Talisman are extremely punishing, can we adjust the rules? I also want to see some innovation. A great example was 4th edition revised. We got the introduction of Fate, and that opened up some entirely new Tactica. And of course, expansions. I want to see some new expansions. So I was expecting a rules rewrite and some of those adjustments. Now we look at the Toad. Now, if you're coming from previous editions of the game, you fear the Toad. You get hit by the Toad because you draw an event. Someone hits you with a random card. You draw a monster, the Toad King, that it defeats you. If you kill it, you possibly get turned into a Toad. You know in Talisman, if you have to roll and you roll a 1, there's a good chance you'll be toadified. That is extremely scary because all of your gear, all your items, all your followers, all your gold, all your pets, all your potions drop on that space. So the first thing there is you lose your stuff. Everybody immediately starts trying to run in and grab that gear. Everyone's trying to grab that gear. You get reduced to a Toad stat-wise. You can only move one space, and you're trying to deal with, well, what if there's a giant on one side and a dragon on the other? I'm just going to get blasted. Getting turned into a Toad is a very bad event. Probably worse than old school Raiders where you lose all your gear. So with that, yes, it is very punishing. Yes, it is extremely frustrating, but it is an element of the game, and it is a viable Tactica. Sometimes what you'll see is players will have a magic item. Slight spoiler here. They'll have the rune sword. You get the rune sword. I feel you. I'm happy for you, but I got to get the rune sword from you because I can't let you have that. If you have the Orb of Prophecy, which lets you draw 2 adventure cards, discard 1, that's just too powerful. We can't have that on the table. So you'll see some characters draw certain items, and you got to get the items from them. But maybe they're too powerful for you to effectively beat on, or they can evade you. If you have a spell, or if you have some sort of object that you can toadify someone, you hit them with that. We also see as people are starting to make the run for the Crown of Command, maybe you want to hit them with a Toad. So there were various tactics to that. Likewise, as a player, if we're talking about Fate, because we're just frameworking this as we look at the changes, I'm all geared up. I'm all statted up. You know, I'm easily double-digit plus for strength and craft. I don't even have to roll for things. I'm going to make my run for the Crown of Command. I want to make sure I got Fate. I want to make sure I have Fate, because if someone hits me with a random spell, or I get hit with something that's going to toadify me and it's a disaster, then at least if I've got that reroll. So I'm conservative with that. You have to kind of think. Well, now Toad has been completely changed. Completely changed. It's almost like the element is just left in the game because it was a part of the game, but I'm not quite sure what it serves. So you get hit with the Toad. You turn into the Toad. I guess your objects and followers get magically transformed. You don't lose your gear. You don't lose your stuff. So now no one can run in and rob and steal it. That's okay. That changes things, but at least there's not going to be the frustration of, I've been farming all this gear for the past hour. I built up my character, and now I've lost everything. That also removes that element tactically that if someone has something powerful, how are we going to get that away from them? But okay, there's other ways to do that. Destroy object and summons and things like that. So we'll just change the Tactica. You're only a Toad for 1 turn. part of the punishment was 3 turns where you're trying to run away, or if you're sandwiched between bad things because you can only move 1 space, it's going to be very punishing. You're also probably going to take some loss with life. So with that, now that it's only 1 turn, it's kind of like if you get turned into a toad, you just miss a turn in the game. You've been reduced to effectively doing nothing. It's miss a turn. Now, I've talked about, and I pushed up to the Talisman archive here on my channel, the playlist. Losing a turn in Talisman is a big deal in that it stacks. I mean, you have X number of turns to make it to the Crown of Command or the end game, whatever that's going to be, and you're competing with other players. If I lose 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 turns over a 100-turn game, that stacks up. So that penalty is there, but it now completely changes it more to you just got toadified. Lose a turn. Now, is that good? Is that bad? Is it a nerf? I think it removes the frustration for new players. It definitely streamlines the game, makes it play a little bit faster. But what is the appearance of the toad? That's my question. Will we see more of it now? So effectively, if you've changed it to just lose a turn, then maybe you want to interject it a little bit more in the game and make it kind of a fun element. You want to make it kind of that signature element to offset the fact that it's not so punishing. We're just going to have you miss a turn. I mean, you don't miss a turn. You get to do stuff, but essentially and effectively, you've missed a turn. For me, that is the biggest change in the game. And it is kind of groundbreaking with that change. It is going to alter the tactical engine of the game. Whether that's good or bad, I think we got to see how other elements of the game have been changed and how other interactions work, possibly with expansions, for us to know long term. But if you are a long-time Talisman enthusiast, you know the power of the toad. You know the fear of the toad. What does this rule change look like for you?